The car we are talking about today has liberated Indian masses from two-wheelers and given them freedom to own four-wheelers. Also, this car has been sold over 2 decades, registering a sale unit of 43 lakh. Hello and welcome to DriveSpark. This is Bharadwaj and that is the 2022 Alto K10. We are going to review this car today in Kochi and tell you everything you need to know about this car. Let's get started. So before we delve deep into the design and other feature aspects of the Alto K10, let me tell you a little bit about the variants and pricing. The car starts at a 3.99 lakh and goes all the way up to 5.84 lakh for the VXI Plus AGS variant, which is what you see right here. And speaking about color options, it is available in 6 colors, and as I told you, there is a gold color option as well on this hatchback. Now that is something that we need to see in real to see how the car looks. Also, the Alto K10 is available in 2 customization packages, that's called the Impacto and the Glinto, where the package includes several accessories and deck this car up according to your preference. Now let's get onto the design. Now what you see here is a more rounded off corners over across the car. You can see that there is a rounded contours even on the grille and also on the side, and there's no strong body lines on this car. And when you compare that to the previous generation Alto K10, that was more of a sportier design. Now this, I feel, is Maruti has done this to appeal for younger generation buyers and also mature buyers in the market as well. Starting off with the front, you get a halogen headlamp and a halogen turn indicators as well. As you can see, body lines has subtle creases that more of a rounded off shape, and you get a Suzuki logo right here and a honeycomb grille. All this what you see here is completely new as compared to the older generation Alto K10. Now moving on to the side profile, this particular car gets a 13-inch steel wheels. However, with the option pack, you also have option to add a alloy wheel, a DRL and a whole lot more. With that, the tire size that is offered on this car is 145 by 80. Now moving on to the side profile, you get flip-up door handles, a body color door pillar and a blacked out ORVM for a sportier look of the car. More or less, the side profile remains distinctive Alto design. Now what I would like to say is, from the side profile, the Alto K10 certainly looks more closer to the Alto 800. However, the K10 is a whole lot taller than the 800. Now let's go to the rear profile and let's see how that looks. So coming to the rear profile of the 2022 Alto K10, you can see there is a lot of similarities between this car and the car that is above its segment, that's the Maruti Celerio. At least the bumper, it definitely looks Celerio-ish. And coming to the tail lamps, it is all halogen unit. You get a combination lamp of tail lamp indicator and also the reverse light. Now this is not the reverse light, actually this side is where the reverse light is present. More or less a simple design, simple lines, and not much going on right here. You get the Suzuki logo and Alto K10 badging. Also, if you're wondering how to access the boot, there is no. You have to do the old school way. You have to either reach out to the driver footwell or bring the key out and slot in here and then open the boot. And when you open the boot, it is pretty light and you get access to over 214 liters of boot space. Now you can see that we have crammed it with a lot of stuff. It can take in a lot of luggage, and the boot is certainly big enough for this segment of a car. So that is about the boot space. Now it is time to get inside and see what are the features that are offered on this entry-level hatchback. Now as soon as you get inside the rear seat of the Alto K10, you will have to do things old school way again. For example, it gets rolled down windows. Even on the top end variant of this car, the rear passengers have to put in some effort to roll down the window. Now apart from that, there is no features as such on the rear seat. It has got a lot of space though, because this seat is set to my height and my knees are still not touching. I have a lot of knee room, a lot of leg room as well, and a lot of headroom. And there's good view out of the window, and there are not many features here. You don't even get a bottle holder as well, but you get decent under height support, and I think sitting 4 is easy, but a 5th person will have some trouble because of lesser room and also a high up center floor right here. Apart from that, you get one feature is that fixed headrest. Yes, you get some crumb of comfort. Other than that, there's no armrest. Obviously you can't expect that on this feature, and there's no charging socket as such, but you just get a cubby hole right here. You can place a half a liter water bottle or even your smartphone. Those are the features or amenities that is there on the rear seat of the Alto K10. Now it's time to go sit in the driver's seat and see what's there on the front. Now we are in the driver cockpit of the Alto K10, and you can see a little bit of an improvement in terms of features and a whole lot more as compared to the previous generation Alto K10. Starting off, it gets a 7-inch infotainment system. Now this features Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wired though, but still you get that feature. This is a premium feature that is not found even on bigger cars as well. Also, with this infotainment system, Maruti also gives a 4-speaker audio. Now we have played a lot of tracks to test out the speaker system, and I can certainly say that for this cabin it is pretty good. Now going forward, you get power windows at the front, and the buttons are placed right below the infotainment system, and you get a AC unit. There's not a climate control unit. You'll need to still manually adjust the temperature, and below that is the center console where you get a cubby hole right here, and you get USB port, aux, and also a 12-volt socket. Right behind it are 2 cup holders, and since this is a automatic variant, you get a automatic gear shift right here, and you get another cubby hole right here to place some more storage, and you get a manual parking brake. Now speaking about storage spaces, this has a glove box right here, and you can stuff a lot of knickknacks right here. Both the doors get a decent sized pocket where it can take in 1 liter bottle and also a little more knickknacks right there. Now that is storage spaces and practicality. Now coming back to the features, right at the driver you get a fully digital instrument cluster, and it gives you a ton of data, like in terms of instantaneous fuel efficiency, average fuel efficiency, a gear position indicator, and a whole lot more. But there is no RPM or tachometer that is present on this car. Now apart from that, speaking of the overall design of the cabin, you get to see a black or grayish theme right here, and the dual tone upholstery on the seat certainly complements this overall theme and creates a sporty and airy feel cabin. Speaking about airy feel cabin, you get 2 AC vents in the middle and 2 circular AC vents on the side, and the performance of the AC is certainly excellent. Even on fan speed 1, you will definitely get a lot of air coming into the cabin. Finally, coming to the steering wheel is fairly simple. It's a rounded and a dual tone steering wheel. You get a chunky feeling despite being a small steering wheel. You get steering mounted controls for audio and also telephone controls via the infotainment system. Now those are all the features that are present on this car. Again, this is an entry level hatchback, and Maruti has made sure that all the essential features that is required on this car has been packed into it. Now it is time to take this Alto K10 for a spin, and we'll tell you everything that has been changed under the hood as well. So now we are driving the all new Alto K10, and there have been significant changes under the hood as well. As I mentioned earlier, now this comes with a 1 liter naturally aspirated petrol engine like always. However, Maruti has now given this engine their Dual Jet Dual VVT treatment. Now this is the first engine in the 1 liter category from Maruti to receive that technology, and with that the efficiency of the engine has increased is what Maruti says. Now with that, speaking about the power figures, this produces 66.6 PS of power at around 5,500 RPM and 89 Newton meters of torque. Now these figures might not seem good, but for this car of this size, it certainly feels a lot more healthier. That's because this car weighs very less and it is absolutely quick off the line, especially with the manual variant. Now we have already driven the manual gearbox and it is as is, or like all the other manual variants, it's very quick to respond. Now what I'm driving is the automatic AMT variant. As you already know, AMT gearboxes are not the most performance oriented gearbox. It is tuned more towards the fuel efficient nature of the engine, and that is how this particular gearbox responds as well. Whenever you floor the throttle or floor the car, what you get is a delayed throttle response a little bit, and then when the gear changes to subsequent gears, you can notice a significant kickback. Having said that, among the AMT gearboxes, Maruti Suzuki's AGS unit is certainly one of the most efficient unit, as I can say, because it is not as delayed as other AMT gearboxes in the market, and it certainly is precise compared to other AMT gearboxes as well. Now if you compare it to other automatic gearboxes like torque converter or even the DCT, certainly you will feel that there is a lot of kickback, but that is how AMT works. Now if you still want some more manual action in the AMT, you still have the Triptronic unit where you can just slot in the gear to manual mode and change the gears manually by yourself. Now even there is a kickback as well. So all in all, the automatic gearbox is certainly pleasurable to drive. It is fuel efficient because Maruti is claiming 24.9 kilometer per liter. Now that is something that we have to test it out because this is a short drive and we were not able to do a mileage test. But when we drove it across highways and cities, we certainly got at around 20 kilometer per liter. Again, we'll have to test this out and give you a proper figure. And also, apart from the mileage, it is also very convenient to drive as well, because automatic certainly adds a lot of convenience, and this certainly does that. Now apart from that, the Alto more or less remains the same. It is very similar, or it is a very familiar seat to be in, and like all other Marutis, it has a very smooth operation in terms of steering, in terms of brake, and also in terms of clutch when it comes to manual transmission. Now that is about the performance. Now speaking about the driving dynamics of this car, the suspension certainly feels smooth and also plush. Again, as I mentioned, this car is not heavy, and that certainly shows in the way this car drives. And you can certainly notice that going over rough patches like we are doing right now, the tarmac has a lot of small stones, and the car is just gliding over it, especially on moderate speeds. You will have very nice ride comfort on this car, and also the seats are supportive. Even though these are like basic seats and do not have much bolstering in it, you will certainly feel that you are not out of place on the seat, and is very much acceptable for long journeys as well. If there was a adjustable headrest, at least for the driver's seat and the co-passenger seat, it would have helped more to be in much more comfortable position for the driver. Now speaking about that, the seat is only adjustable for a recline and for the reach. The steering is non-adjustable, and also there's no height adjustment for the driver's seat as well. So going forward, you will have to choose a position and stick with it. You will not have much freedom in terms of choosing a driving position in this car. But having said that, the driving position that I am sitting in has a good commanding view of out front, and also the reach to the pedals or even the steering wheel is adequate, and I can drive long hours sitting in this position. Finally, speaking about the NVH levels and the safety, NVH levels is pretty decent. You will not get much of an engine noise unless and until it is revved up. If driven smoothly, there'll be not much noise creeping into the cabin. Now you can't expect much of a NVH level isolation on this car being at this price bracket, but it certainly does well, and you can use the 4-speaker audio system that I mentioned earlier to improve those NVH levels. Moving on to the safety features, Maruti has given this a basic set of safety features like 15 plus safety features that includes dual airbags. You get ABS with EBD, and also you get a rear parking sensor to help you park at tight spaces. Despite having a touchscreen infotainment system, Maruti has not given this a reverse parking camera. They could have integrated it, at least for the top end model. Now that I feel is a miss. So there you have it. That's the Alto K10, and that is how this car drives. It can certainly give you a go-kart feeling, like always, like all the Altos have done so far, and you will be having a lot more fun behind the wheel. So that was our take on the new Alto K10. Now, according to us, this particular car is certainly one of a kind, and as you know, the segment for entry-level hatchback is diminishing by the day because of the SUV boom that we are seeing. Right now in this segment, there's only this car and its younger sibling, the Alto 800 and the Renault Kwid. What would you choose among these three? Mention them in the comments below. I'm waiting for your answers. Also like and share this video and do subscribe to DriveSpark if you haven't done it already. This is Bharadwaj signing off. Stay safe and drive safe.